Hello everyone and welcome to another build video on the GooseV2. This is episode 9 already and it's about the wings. You see the Goose is now starting to look like a proper airplane with the wings on it. We are only missing the nacelles and the tip floats, and when that is ready we can call it a complete airplane. To remove the wings, the hatch needs to be taken off, and from the inside the wing bolts are very easy to access and you can remove them. Using laser cut parts I made thumb screws from the regular nylon bolts. When these are loose, the wing can be slid off, the connectors can be made loose, and then the wing can be removed. So this is one wing. For those of you who are familiar with GooseV1, the big difference for now is that it is a fully sheeted design and there are no brass tubes in the wings anymore, just only these carbon tubes. Only the rear one is glued in place. This one will be glued in later when attaching the nacelle frame. The tip is built up from solid balsa and sanded to shape. The tip float mount you can see here, and also the aileron is already in place. So I have a lot to show you, so I won't be talking too much. Let's take a look at the design in Rhino and after that on how to build the wings. Have fun! Assembling the wing starts with gluing the two main parts together. You see them here. 2 layers of 2.5mm balsa. These are the pockets for the nylon wing attachment bolts. The root rib is made from 3mm plywood. Then all the balsa ribs are attached to it. There's the tip float mounting, more on that later. 2 plywood servo mounting frames. The rest of the ribs. This is the trailing edge. This needs to be sanded flush with the ribs when you get to that point. The trailing edge at the aileron is made of 2 layers to provide a little more support for the hinges. Then a balsa sub-leading edge, tip plate, a hardware installed, 2 carbon fiber wing tubes, 2 micro servos. Then there's the aileron with the linkage, the optional flap with the hidden control linkage, bottom sheathing attached, top sheathing, leading edge and wingtip balsa blocks attached, and these need to be sanded to shape. So this was the explanation on what we are going to do. Let's take a look at it. Just a quick video on how to join balsa sheets to form a larger sheet. By this I mean an easy way to glue the edges of the balsa. For this you need medium CA glue with a new tip, some paper towels, a sanding block and a flat sanding block, and some masking tape. Before joining the sheets, you have to make sure that the edges are nice and straight. If not, just go over it with your sanding block for a few times, so that when you are taping them together you get a nice fit. So the first thing that needs to be done is taping the edges together. I like to use small pieces of tape for it, starting out with the end. So now it's glued together. You need to flip it over. And we are going to use the edge of the building board. Obviously it's covered with wax paper, so you don't glue the balsa to the building board. And you're just hanging it over the edge till the joint opens. So the straight edge of the building board, you just tip the balsa over till the edge opens, like this. So with the edge opened, you just apply a little bit of CA glue on the down hanging side of the balsa. And then flip it back on the building board, go over the joint with a paper towel. Let the glue cure a bit. Go over the joint with your sanding block. And there's your joint balsa sheets. Well, watching that time-lapse build video was pretty fun, but now I'm taking my time to show you a little bit more on how to attach the bottom sheeting. We did build this framework. It goes together pretty fast. If you are choosing to do the flaps, this is how it's set up. All the parts are included in the kit, but for my prototype I decided not to use flaps, because with my previous experience with the GooseV2, they are not necessary if you build it light. If you can just take a close-up here, this is the flap. I just taped it, but obviously you need to use hinges for that. And this is how it should work, with hidden linkage. All the parts to make the flaps are included in the kit, including the servo mounting. But for now, let's get rid of it. Let me just remove the flap and the tape. We will not be using this anymore. So this is the assembled framework. I also prepared the bottom sheeting. Of course it's oversized, and there's the cutout made for the tip float attachment point. When getting to this part of the build, I recommend to get a new building board, just because it's clean and there are no rests of glue or anything, and obviously cover it with this wax paper so you do not glue your wing to the building board. For now I'm just laying it aside. When framing up this wing, there is a big potential chance of screwing up your build, because it's very easy to get a warp in it. I'll show you, this one has a warp also. The building board is 100% flat, and if you can just zoom in like that, you see there is a warp. It's not straight. Take a look at the main spar, there is a bend in it. So you need to brace to fix the framework before you glue it to the bottom sheeting. And I want to show you how this can be done in a very easy way. Again, cover it with wax paper. Then lay the sheeting in place. Should do it the other way around. Will probably fit a little better. The tip float mount needs to be in the cutout you made, like this. And now we have to brace the structure. For this it's very good to use these profiles. You can get them at a local hardware store for a few euros. They don't cost much, and they're very useful for jigging your build. So you just lay it to the sub-leading edge. You can already see that on the ends it is flush with the sub-leading edge, and here in the middle this is where you want to straighten out. So any balsa builder should have many clamps, and just one by one you are fixing the sub-leading edge to the profile, and thereby straightening out the structure. So now it's straight, and it's safe to glue the main spar to the sheeting. One thing I recommend that you position the main spar in such a way that it's not directly over a joint in the sheeting, because you can use CA to glue the main spar to the sheeting, and if it's exactly over the joint which is already glued with CA, it won't work quite as well. Another part that maybe need to be braced is this sub-trailing edge for the ailerons, and then you can use another profile for it with a few clamps. To brace it. But now you are sure that it's straight, and it's now safe to glue the structure to the balsa, all the balsa joints, but I would save the root rib for last, because this is a ply part. It's pretty flexible, and you want this to be exactly flat without any bends in it, because otherwise you have a nasty joint with the fuselage when it gets to that point. So when this is all glued, then you can hold this to the root rib and then glue the root rib to the balsa. When it's all dried, you can trim the sheeting. So the gluing first goes to the part behind the main spar. When that is all dry, the balsa in front of the main spar needs to be glued. That is a little bit more tricky, because the wing has a flat bottom. So on this you can do it on the flat building board. But for the area in front of the main spar, the balsa needs to be bent. Also, you must not forget to sand the sub-leading edge to match the profile of the wings. When you've done that, it's attached like this. I found it to be the most easy way to just lift the end of the wings while bending the balsa and then attaching it to the sub-leading edge with CA. So, with the bottom sheathing attached, I already did the left wing panel, so I want to talk about it a little bit and show you what I've done. The bottom sheathing is all attached to the framework. The tip float mount is nice and flush with the sheathing, and the servo point is glued in the wing. To make it easy to position this servo mount, I made the templates. With these templates you can make a little jig like this to position the servo mount. Kom even dichterbij. This jig fits right up against the wing rib and the trailing edge, and with that you can position this part. When it's in place, drill through the holes, then remove the jig. Not important now. And then the holes are drilled. You can screw this part on, with a very sharp knife, go along the edges and cut the balsa, then glue this part in, and you have a nice servo mount, and it really sits flush with the wing. So that covers the servo mounting. Then inside the wing you see this little plywood disc. These are the hard points for the tip float bracing. Also, to get them in the exactly correct place, there is a little template I made. For this you need to put in the tip float mount, and the template just fits over the carbon tubes. Like this, and there are 4 points to drill a hole, and this is where the tip float bracing wires will go to. So, having these templates makes life a little bit more easy. Well, with the bottom sheathing done and the external fixtures all glued in place, I can now make the wiring, and then we get to closing the D-box, but there's more to it than just applying the balsa, and you will see next. you could see me sheathing the underside of the wing, which is ready now. Also all the wiring is in place, and I loosely fitted the wing tubes. So now it's time to sheath the area forward of the main spar. This is a very important step of the build because the wing is now still flexible. You can see you can twist it, and when the D box is closed, or the area in front of the wing is sheathed, it will be a rigid assembly. Also, there is a chance that you mess up the wing if you do not have it way down on the building board properly, or you have it like this, and when you sheet this area, it's rigid like this. So then you messed it up. So also there is a little washout in the wing to prevent a nasty tip stall, and let's talk about that a little. So before sheathing, make sure the wing rests on a absolutely flat building board, and then you need to weigh it down. Here, 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 and here. Am I missing something? Yes. No, I'm not. Better use this one here. And place one on the tip. Now the wing is flat on the building board, but there's no washout in. There's a 5mm washout at the tip. I made this little jig, and then you just put it under there, and the correct washout is in the wing. So now I can close the D-box, and when it's ready, the wing will be a rigid assembly as it sits on the building board now. So let's do it. The D-box is now closed, and the wing is a rigid assembly now. I cannot twist it anymore, and when it's laid down flat on the building board, you can see this area is flat with the building board, and near the tip the washout is built in. So now it's time to sheath the top of the wing, but very important before you start sheathing is to glue the rear wing tube in, not the front one, only the rear. This one will be done when the nacelle frame is in place.